There's a long river whose source is in Germany's fabled Black Forest and winds its way toward an ocean named for the same dark hue. It was the source of inspiration for the great composer Johann Strauss, who described its color as blue. Jules Verne set his novels along its shores, and it became the source of the popular cultures of both Austria and Germany as well. It passes through 10 countries, including Austria, Hungary, Germany, and the Slovak Republic. Along its banks, you'll find some of Europe's most magnificent capital cities. So, welcome to the second longest river in all of Europe, the Danube. We'll be navigating this majestic waterway aboard the luxurious MS Vivaldi with Croisière Europe at the helm. Our floating home is just a bit longer than an entire football field and endowed with the very latest technologies for comfort and security. The journey will begin in the city of Passau, Germany, and carry us downriver to Budapest, capital city of Hungary. Unlike cruises on the high seas, a river cruise allows us more time to explore the cities we'll be visiting along the way. But before boarding, let's take the opportunity to explore our point of departure, the city of Passau. This magnificent German city is nearly 2,000 years old and situated in a unique geographic location. In fact, the city's been nicknamed the City of Three Rivers because it's there that the Danube is joined by two tributaries, the Inn and the Ilz. It's easy to distinguish between the three because the waters of the tributaries are green and black, while the Danube is decidedly brown. Besides its location at such a rare confluence of waterways, the city also borders on 3 countries: Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. Its political and geographical uniqueness make Passau a city of exceptional cultural diversity, while nonetheless retaining its distinctly German character. Visitors arrive in Passau for a variety of reasons: its geographic location, the magnificent museums, and St. Stephen's Cathedral. The cathedral boasts Baroque architecture dating back to the late 17th century. Before its construction, however, the site had been home to several other churches, of which the last had been completely destroyed by fire. So the one we'll be visiting today is the most recent in a succession of religious structures. Its 3 impressive green domes loom high above this part of the ancient city and become a useful point of reference for visitors. Due to the 3 converging rivers and the many surrounding embankments and bridges, without the cathedral, it can otherwise be difficult to establish one's bearings. Besides its 3 bell towers, the structure represents a harmonious combination of 2 distinct styles of architecture, Baroque and Gothic. Its Gothic character lingers on in structural elements remaining from the older church it replaced. The interior is immense and quite splendid. Adorning its walls are frescoes by the influential Swiss-Italian painter Carpoforo Tencala. Exquisitely detailed, the materials themselves are of the highest quality and painstakingly crafted. The construction of a cathedral such as St. Stephen's required the participation of many of Germany's greatest artisans to achieve the sense of awe it was intended to inspire. But despite the many other treasures within its walls, among the main reasons visitors stop by is to see one of the largest organs in the whole world. The giant instrument boasts 17,774 pipes and 233 stops, all controlled by a central 5-manual console located in the organ gallery. Leaving the cathedral, the ancient streets of Passau offer up a generous display of what makes travel abroad so enjoyable: street vendors serving up local specialty foods. It's an excellent opportunity to meet the local folk, to learn about those specialties, and perhaps pick up some basic vocabulary. The city of Passau is truly magnificent. The influx of tourists has certainly given local businesses a pleasantly international character. In most establishments, the Bavarian tradition takes prominence, but you can nonetheless drop by a typically Irish pub if that's to your taste. But the souvenir shops will quickly remind you of where you really are. This is Passau, among the jewels of Bavaria. And local dress will, without a doubt, confirm the fact. That first part of our day has promised a truly exciting cruise, with the prospect of history, architecture, and magnificent landscapes in store. All that remains is to explore the ship and set off down the Danube. The MS Vivaldi is a 3-deck vessel, the 27th such ship in the Croisière Europe fleet to specialize in river cruises. Even though it resembles other ships in most respects, special attention has been given to its classically luxurious interior decor. Interior furnishings are elegant and include numerous works of art. Textiles used are contemporary in design. Carefully selected colors endow all interior spaces with a sumptuous luster. The 88 double cabins are divided among the ship's 3 decks. Within each, you'll find all the comforts you'd expect of luxury cruise: satellite TV, a safe, a hairdryer, and most important of all, an immense window with a panoramic view. Each cabin also boasts a complete restroom. It's now just past 5 o'clock, and with all passengers aboard, we can officially begin our cruise down the Danube. To mark our departure, we're all invited to meet the captain and his staff.
Dans quelques instants, ces jeunes filles vont se faire un plaisir de vous servir le verre de bienvenue, et quand tout le monde sera servi, bien sûr, nous trinquerons ensemble à cette croisière.
A festive atmosphere marks the beginning of our voyage. It's with a toast and a smile that our trip begins. Assured of a friendly crew to guide us along, we slowly begin to pass through the fairy tale landscape of our dream cruise down the Danube River. It's the second day of our dream cruise down the Danube. This morning, the ship is docked at Melk, a charming Austrian village. The day's schedule calls for a departure in early afternoon, so our stopover in Melk will be brief. There's no time to waste, so we immediately head off toward the most important attraction, the Abbey of Melk. Overlooking the town and the river, the Abbey is home to Austria's Benedictine community. Initially founded in the 11th century, this Baroque structure actually dates from the 18th. For over 900 years, the spiritual center has been home to monks who follow the teaching of Saint Benedict. They remain integral to the community. Through its involvement in education, the economy, the arts and tourism, the Abbey plays an important cultural and spiritual role for all Austrians. The beauty is almost supernatural. Works of art, frescoes, and the many treasures to be discovered within are beyond priceless. But the opulence of the Abbey has great spiritual value too. From its inception and throughout the ensuing centuries, it's there that Austrians have endeavored to worship God through artistic creation. As we contemplate the immense beauty and richness of all that surrounds us, there can be no doubt that its mission has been accomplished. In a Benedictine monastery, only the church itself takes precedence over the library. But it's in the library that the monks of the Abbey honor another calling. The library in the Abbey is truly remarkable. The decor and the works of art housed there bear witness to the monks' devotion to knowledge. The immense frescoes on the ceiling by the Austrian painter Paul Troger are a testament to the Benedictines' faith. The woman in the center is surrounded by 4 groups of angels, each symbolizing one of the 4 cardinal virtues: prudence, justice, courage, and restraint. The 4 statues signify the pursuits of theology, philosophy, medicine, and law. But the hall is more than just a museum. It's also an authentic library, containing 1,888 handwritten manuscripts, plus 750 printed works, the earliest fruit of the printing press, plus tens of thousands of volumes from the 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries. The library is a veritable national treasure that includes a total of 100,000 works concerning matters as diverse as theology, law, geography, astronomy, and history. "11 o'clock is fast approaching, and the ship is ready to hoist anchor. We'll be leaving for our next destination along the next leg of our river cruise, Dürnstein. On our way to that fortified city, the Danube passes through a deep valley called the Wachau. About 30 kilometers long, this section of the river is listed among UNESCO's World Heritage Sites. Situated in a prosperous agricultural region, the banks of the river are lined with magnificent castles, Baroque churches, charming medieval villages, and ingenious wine-growing terraces. It's here that the grapes for Riesling, Chardonnay, and yellow Muscat wines are cultivated. The microclimate of the region is at the heart of the wine-growing tradition of the area, thanks, among other things, to vast temperature fluctuations between day and night. The contrast allows for a slower maturation of the grapes and a greater concentration of their aromatic properties. Connoisseurs are unanimous. The Wachau is among the most celebrated of wine-growing regions in the country. From the ship, we see the fortifications of our next stopover looming before us. We've arrived at Dürnstein. This beautiful village in the heart of the Wachau is home to fewer than 1,000. But even though its inhabitants are few, its reputation extends far beyond its boundaries. It was in 1192, 3 centuries before the discovery of the Americas, that the village was recorded as being home to one of the most famous prisoners in history. It was in this castle that Richard the Lion-Hearted, King of England, was held prisoner by Leopold V after a dispute concerning the Third Crusade. The king was set free 1 year later, but that's how the little village earned its unique place in the history of the Crusades. The castle itself was destroyed a few years after the king's liberation. Dürnstein, however, is also renowned for many of the fine wines produced here. But to discover another regional specialty, we make a brief stop at one of the gift shops specializing in Marille. Marille is the Austrian word for apricot. Here, the sprightly little fruit is as popular, if not more, as the fruit of the vine. Rather in the way kiwi fruit designates New Zealand and oranges suggest Florida. No one can resist purchasing their own apricot-based jams, syrups, or brandies to enjoy back home. Before reboarding the ship, we decide to take a little detour to the magnificent blue and white tower, situated just a few meters from the wharf. Since our arrival, it's been inseparable from the overall landscape, and we can no longer ignore it. The unique structure is considered the official mascot of the city. Although recently restored, the tower was given its present colors back in the 15th century. Surrounding the church grounds is an Augustine convent. As we leave the village of Dürnstein, the changing landscape along the Danube inspires our even greater admiration. But as long as we remain in the region, it's the church tower that literally steals the show. We are now just a few minutes away from disembarking in the Austrian capital of Vienna. This morning, we enjoy an onboard buffet offered by our hosts before leaving to explore the city of museums, as Vienna's become known for its 100 or more such establishments. As we've become accustomed to throughout our cruise, the restaurant on the lower deck remains the culinary meeting place. Fresh fruit, eggs, Viennese pastry, and cold cuts are enjoyed daily. A highlight of our breakfast is the delicious coffee, prepared just the way you like it. The day promises to be long and exciting. Along our itinerary, we'll be visiting the Museum District, the Schönbrunn Castle, and the Royal Summer Residence. With breakfast finished, we set off for the museums, about 20 minutes by foot from the docking area. To stroll through Vienna is to revel in the sheer delight of the rich architectural heritage that surrounds you. The Museum Quarter is one of the 10 largest cultural centers of its kind on the planet. It's been estimated to be as large as 60,000 square meters, equivalent to 250 tennis courts all bordering one another. Toward the center of the district are plentiful open spaces, public gathering places where visitors can rejoice in their environment, rest their feet, or otherwise simply relax. For many, the spaces are for people watching, but for others, they're more the place to be seen. Among the 100 museums you'll find here, the MUMAC Museum of Modern Art is among the largest. The monolithic structure is principally home to modern works of the 20th and 21st centuries. It's there that you'll view the works of some of the greatest artists of our time, including Picasso, Warhol, and even Yoko Ono. Continuing our exploration, we notice two immense and identical buildings sharing a public space. We've now arrived at Maria Theresa Square, created in honor of the last sovereign of the House of Habsburg. The Habsburgs are the royal family who reigned over the German part of the Holy Roman Empire for 300 years. It's here that the Empress is represented on her throne, surrounded by her generals. On either side of the monument, the twin buildings are home to elaborate collections. The first is the Museum of Natural History, which preserves over 20 million items collected by the royal family, from the smallest of insects to the most enormous of dinosaurs. Before it stands the Museum of the History of Art, which is considered to be among the premier museums of ancient art in the world. Our visit to Vienna inevitably draws us toward the Imperial Palace of Hofburg, which was the official residence of the Habsburg dynasty. The gigantic building contains 18 hallways, 20 courtyards, 54 stairways, and over 2,600 rooms. It's almost as if it were a city within the city of Vienna. Every day, directly in front of the Imperial Palace, the most Viennese of Germans entertains the crowds. Even though he's outside the royal residence, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is considered among the still reigning monarchs of Vienna, or at least the uncontested king of the keyboard. The dimensions of the Imperial Palace are almost surreal. But what about their summer residence, the Schönbrunn Castle? The ancient hunting ground was purchased by the royal family, who transformed it into their prestigious summer residence. Successive emperors who stayed there each modified the area considerably. Only traces of the older structures remain. The present castle remains the work of Empress Maria Theresa, who was the last in Habsburg dynasty to make major transformations. Besides the castle, the enormous grounds include a park with gardens in the French tradition. The park is so vast, in fact, that a horse-drawn carriage is provided to make a full tour of it. We opt to take advantage of the service to view its many attractions. The grounds are home to a replica of Roman ruins, an orange grove, and the famous Fountain of Neptune in homage to the Roman god of oceans and seas. It's a magnificent work. Even in Greece and Italy, few fountains boast such detail or occupy so much space as this. The Fountain of Neptune stands before the Gloriette. This neoclassical structure is in the form of a vast Arc de Triomphe, flanked by broad staircases. Those who frequent the castle consider the view of the city and surrounding area as positively regal. There are very few people in the world who can treat themselves to a summer home on the scale of Schönbrunn. It took hundreds of years for the royal family to create this uniqueness for the region. Visitors who stop by have ample opportunity to contemplate its history and to remember the greatest royal family in the land. Returning to the ship, the captain sets course for our next stopover, Esztergom. Our nighttime departure gives us pause to admire the beauty of the city lights of Vienna. We've now left the city of Vienna far behind and continue overnight until the MS Vivaldi finally arrives at the foot of the city of Esztergom in Hungary. Our visit here will be brief because we'll be leaving for Budapest at noon. On a hill overlooking the city stands a magnificent building with a cupola resembling the Washington Capitol, or its twin structure in Havana. We are standing before the Cathedral of St. Adalbert of Esztergom. It's dedicated to the Virgin Mary, and it's the biggest church in the country. As we enter her kingdom, the Holy Virgin herself greets visitors. Behind the statue, 8 columns 22 meters tall support an inscribed portico that reads, "The Head, the Mother, and the School of the Church of Hungary." The reference is to the Holy Virgin, patron saint of the Basilica and all of Hungary. The Basilica is of utmost significance. It's here that the first king was crowned. King Stephen I was born in Esztergom and made this city into the first capital of the country. The church was designed to reflect this fact. The immense cupola is supported by 24 columns and is the 4th largest in the world. Inside, the ceiling rises to over 70 meters. As in any church of such dimensions, remarkable works of art are housed within. The canvas behind the altar was painted by the Venetian artist Michelangelo Grigoletti. Entitled The Assumption, the painting is notable for the transparency of its colors and spectacular luminous qualities. The frescoes of the church were painted by the German master Ludwig von Moralt. Its numerous sculptures were the work of a variety of Hungarian sculptors. The 3rd largest organ in Europe occupies the church loft. When the cathedral was consecrated on August 31, 1856, the composer Franz Liszt composed a solemn mass for the occasion. Although this isn't the original instrument, it nonetheless contains certain components that were played by Liszt himself during the event. But if the cathedral, its works of art, and the pipe organ are worthy of the greatest of museums, the most spectacular part of our visit lies below its centerpiece. The crypt houses the tombs of many centuries of Hungarian cardinals. The oldest inscriptions date back to the 1500s. The tomb of Cardinal in exile, József Mindszenty, is also here. Although he died in Vienna, he let it be known that he wished to return to Hungary only when the last soldier of the Soviet invasion had been removed from the country. His body was repatriated in 1991. In the forecourt, a Hungarian flautist invites us to meditate on the magnificent panorama spread before us. It's a perfect opportunity to contemplate the Danube River, while the MS Vivaldi waits patiently for our return. In a few minutes, we'll be returning to our floating home and set off for Budapest. The captain has begun his approach to the city. Slowing the ship to a snail's pace, we drift the last few meters into Budapest. Even before we set foot on dry land, we're awestruck by the immense Parliament building dominating the fortress on the right bank of the Danube. The seat of the Hungarian National Assembly, at 18,000 square meters, is the biggest building in the entire country. Inaugurated on the 1000th anniversary of the country in 1896, it has been said that construction of the gigantic building required 40 million bricks, 500,000 semi-precious stones, and 40 kilograms of pure gold. The city of Budapest was created in 1873 with the fusion of two riverside cities of the Danube, Buda, which was the capital of the country, and Pest, as well as Óbuda. The location of the city corresponds to the first village established there by the Romans nearly 2,000 years ago. Over the centuries, the city was much coveted by several countries, including Turkey and Austria. After numerous conflicts and many battles, Hungary was officially declared independent in 1920, and Budapest became the official capital of the new nation. Ever since then, the city has enjoyed an international reputation and has increasingly become a favorite tourist destination. Despite its troubled past and the many fresh wounds it still bears, Budapest has much to offer to travelers from around the world. It is also home to some magnificent public works. The Fisherman's Bastion consists of a grouping of ramparts in honor of the city's fishermen. It was they who defended the area from invaders for so long. The 7 turrets offer a magnificent view of the Danube and the opposite city of Pest. Saint Stephen, the first king of Hungary, stands guard over the city and its fishermen. Right next to the Fisherman's Bastion stands the Church of St. Matthias, facing the column of the Holy Trinity. Erected by the inhabitants of the city in the early 18th century, the column was intended to protect the citizens of Buda against the scourge of the plague. Continuing our tour, we come across the Monument to Heroes. Constructed for the occasion of millennial celebrations in 1896, the memorial pays homage to Hungary's heroes. The central statue depicts Prince Arpad, descendant of the first dynasty of Hungary. Behind him are the chiefs of the 7 Viking-like tribes who accompanied the prince in founding the territory that was to become Budapest. At the top of the monument stands the Archangel Gabriel, holding the country's crown in one hand and the Cross of Lorraine in the other. It was the prince and the 7 chiefs who founded Budapest. But not to be forgotten are the many people who laid down their lives in the quest for independence. The Statue of Liberty on the flank of Mount Gellert pays homage to Hungary's unknown heroes. Erected in 1947, the sculpture depicts a woman standing proudly, her hair blowing in the wind, eyes to the right and looking skyward. To the citizens of Budapest, the monument represents the historical importance of the city to the entire country. It's our second day in the streets of Budapest. After yesterday's visits to so many famous monuments, it's now come time to explore at will and perhaps meet some city folk. Budapest is home to some 1,700,000 people. The city covers 525 square kilometers and has about 3,300 inhabitants per square kilometer. By comparison, Cairo has a population 12 times that number, while Los Angeles is about the same. Due to Hungary's many surrounding neighbors, the population includes many minorities who've adopted Budapest as their home. These include Germans, Armenians, Bulgarians, Greeks, Poles, Roma, and Slovaks. The happy mix gives Budapest an eclectic and international flavor. Native Hungarians nonetheless remain a majority of the population at 60%. To get a good sense of the local population, visits to surrounding markets and restaurants are always the best option. As most tourist guides will advise you, straying a few blocks from the beaten track is always the best way for tourists to experience the true local flavors of any destination. It's here that Hungarian goulash is at its finest. Goulash is a Hungarian stew that typically contains meat, assorted vegetables, potatoes, and paprika. Although its preparation varies considerably by region, one thing is certain: we've come to the right place to enjoy a hearty Hungarian goulash. As we continue our exploration of the city, we come across an immense indoor market. Budapest's Central Market dates from the late 19th century. It's a three-story monument to gastronomy and very much part of the daily life of the citizens of Budapest. This is where they go to find fish, meat, fruit, vegetables, and specialty items. In all, over 300 merchants take pride in arranging their products for all to see. Although the market primarily serves the local population, visitors from around the world are made very welcome. Merchants will be pleased to introduce you to their specialties, not least of which are their world-renowned Hungarian salamis. The indoor market gives us the opportunity to see Budapest and the entire country from an alternate point of view. But besides being a feast for the eye, it's our taste buds that are the most intrigued. Foie gras, hearty soups, top-quality fresh meats, preserved meats, fish, stuffed crepes, and spices. As a whole, Hungary is a land where flavor and technique distinguish its tradition of fine dining. Our visit to the market has left us very hungry indeed.
Santé, cheers! Santé, santé.
And even though we've sampled so many local specialties, we still look forward to a Hungarian feast aboard the MS Vivaldi. Foie gras and rack of lamb are amply served. This second-to-last night on the ship will be truly memorable. It's the last day of our dream cruise down the Danube. Before returning to Budapest for final goodbyes, a trip to the little onboard souvenir shop is a must. It's also the perfect opportunity to send a few postcards to our friends back home. That way, we know each card will bear the official seal of Hungary. But as cute as it is, the little gift shop cannot compare with what native merchants offer throughout the winding streets of the capital city. The Artists' Market is located just a few blocks from the Danube and is especially noted for its embroidery. For visitors, it's positively paradise. Embroidery, in fact, is a distinctive feature of Hungarian tradition. Now that we've purchased our paprika, embroidery, and salami, there remains one gift item that's essential for all visitors, and we're certainly in the right place. Whether made of cloth or porcelain, a traditional Hungarian doll had been the only thing missing from our stock of souvenirs from Budapest. To finish off our exciting day in the city, we're treated to a display of folk music and dance by a local troupe. The cultural scene in Budapest is very rich indeed. The city is replete with many movie theaters, concert halls, and other venues for the performing arts. You may wish to take note that censorship has almost disappeared since the fall of communism. For that reason, the streets of Budapest are teeming with the youth of the country, who are well educated and open to the world. Due to recent reforms, a large number of higher educational institutions have obtained their status as full-fledged universities. Among them, many well-known arts-oriented institutions have become officially recognized, making Budapest the new El Dorado of Hungarian culture. Hungarians' openness to the world has made the country particularly welcoming of tourists. The charms of the Danube and the capital city have become an important economic resource for the entire country. Tourism has become increasingly accessible and infrastructures more efficient. Our dream cruise couldn't possibly have chosen a better place to come to an end. Budapest, after all, has often been described as the pearl of the Danube.